And welcome back to the Equinoxical Meckdonalds podcast.
By the equinox for you daily.
Yes, we come to you every winter solstice equinox. I don't know months, and neither do you, so let's get on to the show. With me, as always, is Bongo Cannoli, Sammy Sampson, and me, Arend.
Oh, so you got a normal name.
Hey, I got your first name.
It's close enough.
Anyway, today we're going to be talking about a subject very close to home for our good companion here, Bongo Cannoli.
And Sammy Tang.
Right.
He knows. Okay, so...
let me you explain, then I'll do
Very
my side of the
passionate.
story, okay? You start, though. I'm pretty mad.
So, Sammy is not happy, but I've been keeping the topic of this episode a secret from him since we conceived the idea, which has led to... It's very funny on my side. I'm enjoying this a lot.
Are you done? Are you...
Okay, Sammy,
Let me explain,
There
all
you
right.
go. I'll tilt the microphone
So,
toward you.
Ben was like, all right, Sammy, I've got a surprise for our next episode. I mean, sorry, no, it's
He
like in a
sounds
week.
like this.
Okay? But, I can't tell you, and if you guess, I'm not going to say anything, but I promise there's a surprise. And every time I try to guess, like, is it JoJo? Is it chickens? Is it Latin? Is it something else? And he's like, no, stop guessing, Sammy. You got to stop guessing. So now we're here, and I want to find out what the surprise is. And I'm kind of mad, because I'm pretty sure the surprise is really stupid.
Honestly, you're going to be disappointed because you've been hyping this up in your own mind.
Yeah, I'm going to be
much.
so disappointed.
Well, the surprise topic for this week of the Meckdonalds Roundtable is Grumio.
You lied to me. I did
God
not.
himself.
I said, is it
God
Latin
himself.
related? It's like that.
You
And
didn't
he
say
said no.
You did not say Latin related. You just said, is it Latin?
It technically is Latin.
Okay, Sammy. Good to have you here.
Listeners,
Anyway,
Grumio is by far one of the most intricate phenomenons that this school has ever created.
No, it's not that bad.
okay. Well, so allow me to recount the tale of the G-ster. So in the Latin course, recently on Latin 2 at North, we began a textbook called the Cambridge Latin Course, available on Cambridge Elevate. And it goes through the stories. It's just a textbook, a digital textbook. You're able to like click on words, see what they mean. It actually has, since it's used so widely, it has its own like little cult around the characters that star in it. And recently, actually not too recently, but let's go back a little. So during
You're not very good at sorry.
around the start of the year, they introduce Sammy. Okay,
Oh,
there you go, Sammy.
ignore it.
Around the start of the unit, they introduce our main characters: Caecilius, Metella, Grumio, Clemens, and Quintus, and the dog, who's not really relevant.
What's the dog's name?
It's Cerberus, named after that three-headed dog in the underworld.
Oh,
Basically,
very original.
so who these
Yeah.
characters are? Caecilius is the main character. These are based off of like actual archaeological remains they found in Pompeii. Spoilers, they all die in the volcano, except for Grumio, of
Grumio
course.
was never
And Clemens
confirmed
and
to-
Quintus.
No. Grumio is never confirmed to actually die in the course.
But let's
which
not
has
get
led-
off topic.
Which has led to a lot
Right.
of speculation.
Metella is Caecilius' wife and is very, very annoying.
Very annoying.
Yes, this is a trend in this series. Quintus.
Have you noticed that in like almost all of the family scenes, the wife has been extremely annoying?
Oh yeah, like every
You know-
single scene, the wife is always nagging about something.
Anyway,
Anyways, Quintus is their son, Lucia is their daughter, and Clemens and Grumio are their two slaves.
Yes.
Really the two OGs of this story.
yes.
Well,
they-
the most important guys.
yeah,
the
they-
ones that we fantasize about.
They are by far the most well-written and well-explored characters. Grumio is the kokus, the chef of the household.
So the way this textbook works is like there's like a web book where it shows like pictures and like little Latin sentence under it to help you learn. And some of the pictures depict like Grumio running out with a ladle, chasing a dog for eating the food, or just doing something really stupid. But the best part is they made like actual videos for the stories inside these
Yes.
stories. And one of them is literally just oh my god. Okay, the actor for Grumio is actually a god.
Yes.
That's what I'm gonna say.
Yes, he's probably like my favorite person besides Grumio himself. But anyway, Grumio is the chef in this household, and he cooks up peacocks. There's a story about him.
Whoa, go back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's an entire story about him preparing a peacock for Metella, and she's like, this peacock is very good. And Grumio's like,
Did I actually just hear that from you? Did you
Yes,
actually
Sammy,
just-
get
okay.
over it.
Come
Anyway,
on, Sammy, we're all adults here. We're all Grumio fans here.
yes, and Arend is not in Latin, but me and Sammy are in. It is such an underrated class. Like, my God.
Alan, if you're listening to this, I'm sorry for what Latin has become.
Alan. Oh, your older brother. Anyway. So, after we started noticing in Latin 2, that, like, we had been prowling, Grumio had become sort of a fan favorite in the class, which is actually an extremely common phenomenon in most Latin classes, because we soon found that a wiki had been created, a wiki fandom for the Cambridge Latin course, and the Grumio page was unlike any other. It was just... Grumio is the character for all of the memesters in Latin classes, and that's what draws people to him. It's an unexplainable phenomenon that happens to every class without any outside interference. They all go to Grumio, and we started exploring the wiki. And Dan Trell Chang, shout out to that mad lad, he wrote like a full 10 pages of expository lore
Here, let me
behind
just,
Grumio.
for example, let me just read some of this
And
stuff,
he
right?
titled it The True History.
All right. Let's see how mature this Dan Trell kid is. The True History of Pompeii. However, there is a 420 69% scientific proof with a margin of error of 9.11% that Grumio, along with Caecilius, survived the apocalypse as stated above. It is believed with the power of the Olympian gods, Grumio constructed a time machine out of wood, grass, peacocks, and liquid aluminum. This theory has been validated
Peacocks are a recurring theme
with
on the wiki.
historical evidence, as archaeologists have discovered. Oh, I wrote this part. As archaeologists have discovered ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs and an entire tomb dedicated to Grumio's exploits, transcribing Grumio's antics and treachery throughout all history.
And the same thing happens in other Latin classes. They all have written portions of it too. But eventually the wiki got closed down. I don't know why. It was probably because Dan Trell... okay, actually, let's not talk about the IP thing.
Let's see.
Some of the
I can't find
comments are
enemies.
just terrible.
Some of the comments are just ridiculous.
Oh, okay. The comment do not
the
go to the
Grumio
comments.
page is
Oh,
missing.
let me read this. All right. Let's see. Grumio is most well known for possessing the pharaohs in Egypt to construct giant monuments / pyramids himself, labeling himself as a god, whilst using his dimensional powers to govern the Egyptians. He has also governed the Aztecs, Mayans, Mesopotamians, Greeks, Romans as Nero, and communists. Most notable is control over the Mayans, constructing many pyramids to enhance his peacock cooking skills, while writing prophecies about how he will return and destroy the planet in the future. He once had an attempt to control the Chinese, but this backfired in an incident known as Grumio's 10 Plagues, better known today as Tiananmen Square Massacre. So,
as you can see, it's already beginning to devolve.
this thing goes on for pages. All right, the original was, I think, maybe like
I missed the
5,000
original wiki.
words or something. It was insane.
I bought a... I became the talk of the Latin class a while back, first semester, when I bought a Grumio t-shirt, which barely fits me now. But anyway, it's just a picture of Grumio, and it says "Cocus est in colina," which, the cook is in the kitchen, and "Cocus in colina laborat," which means the cook works in the kitchen. And those two words started an entire scripture of Grumio, an entire cult, an entire following that has struck all Latin classes across the country, across the nation.
If you search up Grumio,
you get the guy from The Taming of the Shrew.
But if you type Grumio Latin, you will get the
If you type in Grumio Cambridge Latin, you will find a lot of things.
you will find memes of him that are just transcendent because they are based on so many inside jokes and ironic turns of phrases that to an outsider they become just completely untranslatable.
This guy actually, the page basically reads like an Onion article, except like they take satire and at this point you can't even tell what's going on anymore. They're just writing stuff.
And this is all contributed to by Latin classes across the country who like Grumio and want to talk about him. This is only portions of it were done by Dan Trell and Sammy and me.
No, Dan Trell wrote most of it. I disagree, but
I'm pretty sure there are separate pages.
I
for
wrote a
separate
part
schools.
of Defeated Enemies. Well, I was one of them was Hitler, right? In the sequel to World War I, right? Hitler stars as himself as a World War II veteran or World War I veteran, and Grumio as the main character. Right? The final edit has Grumio storming the Fuhrer bunker, but the film review the film reviewers known as Wikipedia falsely claim that Hitler killed himself. This, of course, is inaccurate, as Grumio is the one who stormed the Fuhrer bunker.
He used the spoon.
Yeah, he used his ladle.
So anyway, Elena Ping drew an incredible rendition of Grumio as Thanos.
And there's a peacock feather.
With a peacock feather, yeah. And I drew in MS Paint a rendition of Grumio
Ben!
with the ladle with infinity stones in it.
Ben!
And not only that, I also photoshopped an image of Grumio holding a Smash Bros. Invitation.
Ben! We forgot to talk about and kill us.
Oh yeah, Grumio is a ladies' man. Not like that thought Quintus. Quintus, like, there's this famous photo of him lounging on a couch with like this attempt at seduction pose, and it's really just kind of. There are memes about how he's just a thought, but Grumio, you know, he's making moves. One of the earlier stories is him with another slave girl known as an Ankyla named Papaya, Poppaea. Shut up. and what's most tragic about this relationship is that it's cut short at the end of the unit when Pompeii is erupting, because Clemens, the fellow slave of Grumio, says, "I am leaving. I have enough money to free myself, and Papaya is expecting me." And Grumio is crushed.
Alright, so to explain this,
It's betrayal.
he has one of the saddest character arc endings in history, right?
And they just leave it at that. There's no confirmation over whether he dies or not.
He has a plot, alright, to make a bunch of money. So when the new election is coming up, it's very accurate to today's election.
This is before Pompeii.
So when the election is coming up, right, he signs up to be a supporter of this guy named I think Holconius or Afer, but one of those guys. And
one of them.
Basically, the guys are like, here, have a club. All right, and I'll pay you 5 denarii to go fight the other guys.
Not a club, a stick.
A stick.
Yeah, and there's a big fight scene between them.
And when the fight happens, Grumio gets absolutely beat up, and he just runs away. And meanwhile, Clemens, who loyally stays with his owner, Caecilius, helps Caecilius beat up Grumio and his supporters, and he gets paid 10 denarii, and he steals his girl. And that's the last time we see Grumio.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, Grumio is the victim in this story.
He is, and that's what makes him. It's almost comparable to modern day religions.
People like an underdog.
Yes. He's like, you know, Jesus was crucified. People tend to support. There's a trend in major religions where people support the ones who've been beat down, who have been said no, this isn't the truth. I won't accept this. But Grumio shares all of those characteristics. And he's become a cult figure, a political figure.
Yeah, most of the wikis depict him as a god. They literally say that he's on par with Shaggy.
Some would even go to say that Grumio was responsible for Shaggy's creation.
No, that's a little too far, but...
Should we even go into what the Shaggy meme is and its origin?
No, okay, we're not... This is a Grumio episode. But this man has, he's done the impossible. Some guys will just, Grumio's a cool character, right? I'll be like him, but... Yeah. A group of, edgy high school students has gone the distance to create a wiki in an entire, religion.
We didn't talk about the closing. So, the original wiki got closed down for some unexplained reason.
You did talk about it. We said it got shut down, but we don't know why.
Recently, before the wiki was shut down, a new user joined named the Council of Grumio. And clearly this is another rogue Latin class who wanted to, explore the Grumio fandom and become one with it. And they were also fans.
They were believers.
And then the wiki got closed, and no one knew why. It was probably because of Shrumio, the fusion of Shrek and Grumio. And there were some weird comments down there. But anyway, the wiki got closed, and then the Council of Grumio made a new wiki. And they had documented almost every single part of the whole Grumio true history bit, and they were able to reconstruct it.
No, someone downloaded the page, and they re-uploaded, but it was old because it doesn't have the parts about defeated enemies or all the other stuff.
Yeah, it was just
they were dedicated to this,
and then they added their own bits too, a redacted stage where Grumio beats up a toddler and makes a stew out of him. It was kind of weird.
These guys will go to no bounds. Just, Actually, I don't even know why we like Grumio so much. Like, there needs to be like a video essay explaining about this because it's.
I think it's a deep psychological root in the human condition.
I mean, Grumio is S+ tier, but I actually like Clemens a lot too. I mean, even though, like, he like kind of steals Grumio's girl, he has like a huge redemption arc in Unit 2.
Clemens has a redemption arc in the next unit, where he literally just reenacts.
Basically, it's reenacted like part 5. Like he has to fight.
Part 5 of what, Sammy?
Alan, if you're listening, this is a JoJo reference. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, where he has to fight the
Viewers,
mafia.
JoJo's Bizarre Adventures.
No, that's for another episode.
I'm muting it. Anyway.
You know, guys.
Is that all we have to say about
I can play the video. I finished a video. I made like a literal anime opening of Trader's Requiem, but instead of instead of Giorno,
but it's Latin themed. Anyway.
Wait.
I think
have you guys
seen it yet?
In a minute.
Okay.
Have you guys actually read through the entire story yet?
Yeah, all the Grumio story and the Clement story, but okay, after Unit 2, it no longer talks about the original family. It just talks about this guy named Salvius and like Kagegumnus and Quintus, but
Quintus is a member of the original
Quintus
family.
becomes less important in like Unit 3 though. Like,
and also less annoying.
Oh yeah. Well, he's older.
So there is a possibility Grumio could return.
No, he's not.
The most widely accepted theory.
The wiki would have said it because all the stories have been released. So no,
the most widely accepted theory is that Grumio, in his rage at being betrayed by Clemens, caused the explosion at Pompeii, and triggered the events that made Clemens flee.
So I think I know exactly what's going on here, right? So you're reading your Latin textbook, and you see the slave, Grumio, a person that's already lower on the socio-political ladder.
Keep in mind that Grumio is very much a chaotic character. He does what he wants. He doesn't really care.
Yeah, he's likable.
He'll sneak out of the house to go, mess around with some girls.
Effectively, he is the personality that most people want to have, like the carefree playboy
loved by everyone.
We didn't talk about the videos.
I did.
No, I cut you off.
And
I cut you off at how the actor is the best person ever.
He drinks a lot, and
there's a scene in one of the videos where Grumio literally, after his master falls asleep, he eats all his food and then drinks all the wine, and then gets caught by Melissa and keeps eating.
It's amazing.
He's a mad lad.
Anyway, so the videos that represent each of these stages, these stories, are they're all like green screen filmed, and they're all really old, and you can tell it's a green screen. But the actor for Grumio is like, he's got the beard, the dark hair, and everything. And he has this one video called Grumio in the Kitchen, where he starts talking about like recipes that he cooks for the household. And he even like drops like subtle hints. Like one time he says like, Caecilius says that eating a cabbage leaf before drinking cures the hangover. Funny, it's never worked for me. And that line just solidified everyone's trust in this man for like the rest of time, because he's just a bro, he's there for you.
Yeah, he's the downtrodden bro. He's the good guy.
Mm-hmm.
He is the protagonist of. He is the guy that everyone wants to be inside, but he's the slave.
Sammy's showing me that the Council of Grumio actually, for their profile picture, used an image that Dan Trail photoshopped of a Thanos Grumio holding an infinity ladle. And that's dedication right there. And it's incredible what he's like. They paint it as that like Quintus and Clemens are like the protagonists, but they've written their characters in such a way so that the true hero of the story is just hidden right under your nose.
It's like the human unconscious immediately goes to Grumio because we sympathize with him. He's the best of us, but he's being repressed. And that gets it, but then it like ends in the ultimate betrayal by his fellow man, his fellow repressed man, a fellow slave.
Mm-hmm. But the whole reason that Clemens is freed from labor at Caecilius' household is because he was obedient, because he held back those urges that Grumio was expressing.
Because he conformed to society.
All right, guys, I need some advice, all right? British English class, I have to write this writing more thing. And I've got like 2 ideas, but I'm open to suggestions.
Are you using the podcast to do your homework?
No, I would ask you this if you're
Viewers,
listening at
please
lunch.
comment on how good Sammy Sam's work is.
Comment ideas.
No. So my first idea was like, what do you think the future is going to? What do you think the future is going to be like in the near 30 years? Like not where you going to be,
Grumio.
Underwater.
Oh,
but where's the world going to be? Like, because you got like developments in like AI and like virtuality and
Underwater.
self-driving cars. All right. Or I could go for like a safe one and be like, all right, how was your
Underwater.
week?
It's gonna be underwater, guys.
I'm serious. Or my other one is like just write about one good thing that happened to you this week, one bad thing you happened to you this week, and one good thing you ate.
You know, the wiki actually prophesizes that in 2030,
Oh my God.
Grumio triggers the gamer revolution.
All right,
where he
man.
returns as...
What do you guys
He
think?
found his gamers against weed. Yeah.
Guys, please.
All
Or do you have a
right.
third idea? That's actually
So
serious.
what's the future gonna be like? Well,
Oh, which one do you think is better for the class to do? Like, I'm giving this presentation to the class.
I don't know, Sammy. What's happened in your life?
Yeah, talk about yourself.
Who are you, really?
I'm a chicken.
I've never known.
I will give more information on a later podcast, but
This is a later
the
part.
thumbnail is actually very inaccurate. All right, it shows a human face, which looks absolutely nothing like me. So please delete that as fast as you can, or I'll be quitting the podcast.
And we'll have to replace you with
A chicken.
Clayton.
yes.
All right, now I need to
Viewers,
think.
for you who don't know, Clayton is our local.
How do we describe Clayton?
He is the Grumio of our classroom.
Not at all.
He's chaotic.
Not at... No, that's fair, but like... Clayton is the hero of this...
He kind of is, though. Similar personality.
No. Clayton's not an alcoholic.
How do you know?
How do you know?
I think.
How do you know, Ben?
I don't know. Maybe the Mormons have something like that.
All right, I need to choose. All right, so which am I doing?
If we do have a guest episode with Clayton, Arend is just going to go ham on the whole Mormon aspect of things.
I'm
know what?
very
Screw it, I'm
curious
doing
about
the
the
future one.
religion.
It's gonna look way cooler.
So yeah,
So Back to the Future 2 came out in 1989. All right, so
what do you? This podcast has been hijacked by this, by
all right,
this
so
anthropomorphic chicken man.
Back to the Future.
Is this for normal English?
It's on Honors English too.
Is this what you guys do in it? Just make slides?
I don't do this at all.
No, you're doing this once. You're just giving a present. You're leading a writing warm up.
Thank
I'm
God.
so disappointed. I'm glad I'm in honest journalism.
No, we definitely do not do this. Sammy, I've never heard of this. We're doing like actual...
Well, Clayton's also doing it. Round's also doing it.
Stanisek isn't doing it.
Well, that's probably half. That's because the English teachers are super discoordinated.
All right, you know what's going to happen in the future? One of two things is going to happen. The oncoming ecological disaster is either going to force the governments of the world to band together and fight against this oncoming chaos and destruction that's going to head to us. Or option two, it's going to cause them to become more tribal and factional, creating an increase in fascism. And, you know...
This is why you're in journalism, Arend.
Look, you wanted to know what was going to happen. That's what's going to happen. The influx of billions of climate refugees is going to force the governments to actually adapt for once.
Anyway, to a real topic on the podcast.
Whoa. Well, this is politics, man.
No, this is homework, Arend.
Oh no! Oh,
It's not homework if Sammy doesn't take it.
Okay, well, anyway, a new topic, which me and Arend have found quite interesting, is anatidiphobia.
Oh, yes.
Mhm.
Yes. So, have you ever had that dream, right, where you're looking down at your thighs, and suddenly...
I have the definition here that you posted. Here.
Have you ever had that dream where you look down at your thighs and all of a sudden, like, maggots begin pouring out of holes in your thighs?
No. That's
What?
trypophobia. We're not talking about that yet.
All right,
This is
fine.
anatidiphobia.
Anatidiophobia. However, I don't speak Latin.
That's not Latin.
That's not
I
Latin.
don't speak Greek.
That is not Greek.
I don't speak
It's English.
That is English, and you are speaking English.
Okay,
Okay.
anyway, I'll take
The
over.
fear that at any point, somewhere in the world, this one, a duck or a goose may be watching the person who is suffering from the phobia. The person is not necessarily afraid that the duck or goose will attack them or even touch them. Essentially,
It's the fear that you are being watched by a duck or goose.
this is prevalent enough that it has its own Google page. somehow,
It's beautiful.
you are scared that somewhere, somehow, a goose is looking at you. Just, not that they're even going to attack you, not that they're going to interact with you, just that they're there.
Duck.
Or a duck.
A duck or goose. No other animals.
Yeah, I don't even understand
this. This is specific to ducks and geese.
Like, imagine trying to apply to, I don't know, the U.S. Army, and they ask you if you have any phobias, and you have to tell them that you're afraid of being watched by geese. Like, how does that even work? Does it just come suddenly?
It's just a paranoia. You're constantly looking around. Oh God, they see me. They're tracking me.
You're just constantly you're in an underground bunker, but you
How
still
did he
don't feel
get
safe.
here?
I don't know, Sammy. Maybe you shouldn't have brought up your homework in a podcast.
Well, what if I didn't just show up to the podcast and I missed the Grumio episode and you'd have
Then
to
we would
delay
invite Dan
surprise
Trell in as a guest.
Does Dan Trell have fifth period lunch?
Yes.
Correct.
Maybe. I don't know.
We can't prove it one way or the other.
Anyway.
I just love the idea.
Arend, you said we needed to weaponize this somehow.
Oh, yes. We need to find some way to, Oh, yeah. Back in, like, the 90s or the 80s, people tried making gay bombs, where it was, like, aphrodisiacs in a bomb that would force all the soldiers to make love, not war. We need to do that, but with this phobia. We need to, like, just drop a bomb that just spreads out all this dust that makes everyone afraid of geese just watching them.
It's a bomb that infiltrates their mind. It gets them paranoid.
We need to get Marianne on this. We need to find a psychic way of doing it. Like that's how she attacks. She doesn't choke them or like slam them. She makes them scared of geese.
And then that's when she moves in for the kill.
She just has a goose on his shoulder.
She has Renee Boucher while they're stunned run in and tackle them.
She
break their ribs.
Ooh, callback to the first episode, eh?
What, Marianne isn't a callback?
The two of them are in the callback.
Yeah, double callback.
That or like John Hickenlooper is just there being the Dark Lord and like summons a wave of fracking fluid to cleanse the soldiers. Like, can you... Viewers, just imagine like John Hickenlooper, the Dark Lord, just using his fracking fluid abilities. And
oh my god, babe. Notice how all podcasts go. They have like recurring memes, and even like when they talk about it, like they focus on it for one episode, but like 5 episodes later, they're still mentioning it and bringing it up all the time. And fracking fluid, one of the worst memes you could have chosen, is now our meme.
There's nothing wrong with fracking fluid. It's,
you know what's
funny.
You need to start your own meme then.
Starcat and chicken pasta.
I hate them both.
You hate chicken pasta.
Well, it should be noted, viewers, that Sammy is a cannibal. He does eat chickens.
Yeah.
So you are admitting I am a chicken?
He is a cannibal.
Then can you please change the thumbnail?
Why do you want me to change the thumbnail?
That doesn't look anything like me.
That's not the point. It's supposed to be comedic.
You may just put a picture of a chicken because that's comedic.
No.
Viewers, it seems that our very own Samo Tango would like me to draw him as a chicken. I am perfectly willing to do this as long as I can maintain the human face on the chicken.
Oh, that's even better.
I know. It's going to be one of those creepypasta things.
Were you going to draw him? I was just going to put a picture of the chicken on the thumbnail.
No, we can't. That would ruin our viewers' expectation of the quality of this podcast. Tapping.
I'm just typing.
Yeah, Sammy's doing his homework because he was too lazy to do it last period.
What do you mean that I couldn't do it? You think I'd ignore Magister?
He was right behind you, to be fair.
Yeah, come on,
you
Ben.
should have prayed to Grumio.
Yeah, he could shield you.
Wait, okay, if Magister asked me who my favorite Latin person was, would I say Grumio?
Yes.
Or would I say him?
Oh, what do you mean by Latin person?
I don't know, just Latin, like, who's your favorite Latin speaker?
Pompey.
No.
Cicero.
I'd just say chicken.
Of course you would.
I mean, do you think at a certain point, a chicken by making random noises has actually spoken Latin?
No, they're chicken noises.
You know what? We need to get on something actually important.
Yeah.
So in Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yes, this is a travesty.
So, for many of those of you who are playing Yu-Gi-Oh currently, some of you may occasionally think, "Hey, I want to make a frog-themed deck and get the frog bonus."
There are specific bonuses for having the all frog cards.
You know, you want all the good frog cards like Ronin Toden, Toad, Awesome, and then you look and you go, "Hey, is that Frog the Jam?"
Yeah, it's such a cool card. It's like the description reads, "It is a slime that has shifted into the face of a frog. It's a little bubbly bit of slime.
It attacks by croaking terribly."
It's a beautiful work of art, and everyone who sees him instantly loves him because it's Frog the Jam.
It's Frog the Jam. Like, even his name, Frog the Jam. But he's not considered a frog card.
He's not a frog, and it is just a travesty. We need to get on this.
If you want to make your frog-themed deck, you cannot have Frog the Jam. It'll ruin your bonuses. And it's like...
That just shouldn't be allowed.
I know, he needs to be a frog card. I know he's a slime, but he's a slime who believes he's a frog. And therefore, the frog bonuses should apply here. While on the topic of Yu-Gi-Oh, actually. Now,
what were you going to say about Yu-Gi-Oh? If you say Pot of Greed, I'm going to yell and scream.
See, my companion here has a great fear of the honestly very fair card, Pot of Greed.
Anytime Yu-Gi-Oh comes up, he just starts talking about Pot of Greed.
Pot of Greed. Take 2 cards from your deck.
Oh my god. No, why? I don't understand why it's such a meme, though.
Because the next 3 cards are all Pots of Greed.
Well, what if your deck is only Pots of Greed? You can't actually do anything. No?
Well, then you break infinity.
No, here's the thing. Here's the
Pot
ultimate...
of Greed breaks the laws of the universe.
Here's the ultimate method to beat Yu-Gi-Oh, right? You have all the Exodia pieces, and then all of the Pots of Greed. Effectively, if you just keep drawing Pots of Greed, you are guaranteed to get Exodia.
But is Pot of Greed free to play, or like you can't just?
It's not a game on Steam, man.
No, I mean like, can you just spam the card?
Yes.
Yes.
What?
You can just keep summoning more cards from your deck. Of course, then you risk the possibility of decking out when you run out of cards. However, the thing is, as long as you have 1 monster card, you can just keep picking Pot of Greed. And just picking more and more Pots of Greed.
And your turn doesn't end, so they can't just destroy your monster. Because your Pots of Greed take up. Just keep going.
There's no limit to how many Pots of Greed you're allowed to put in your deck.
Hey viewers, for those of you who don't know, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a card game and an anime. And I'm not sure which came first, honestly.
So it's like Pokemon?
That's a good point.
Like, I have no idea which one came. I think the card game came first. Like
I would
Pokemon?
expect...
Yeah, and I would expect the card game came out first.
For Pokemon, the game came out first, right?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
The game definitely came out first.
Yeah.
Anyway, so in the storyline of the show is that there's this kid called Yami Yugi.
It's so weird. The show is just so incredibly odd.
His hair is amazing. It's like spiky
it
red,
follows
yellow,
most
and black.
of the most generic anime tropes. Like, I have the power of friendship, but they just win when you're supposed to lose. Like, it's a card. Like, they somehow made a card game somewhat entertaining and exciting.
No, It's
like watching a chess anime.
They did that by breaking all of the rules of Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah,
In nearly every
Yes.
single battle they're in.
So Yugi, right? He finds this thing called the Millennium Puzzle.
Mm-hmm. And he solves it because he's the main character.
He solves it and gets possessed by an ancient Egyptian, what is it, cardmaster, pharaoh?
Huh?
What? I forget what he gets possessed by.
No, it's just an ancient pharaoh.
Okay.
And he just becomes a taller version of himself. And all of a sudden, he speaks like this. It's kind of terrifying.
Basically, he gets possessed by a pharaoh that makes him better at Yu-Gi-Oh! And Yu-Gi-Oh! Is just like, the cards are created by the ancient Egyptians.
It's so weird.
Like, the ancient Egyptians created these super powerful
and there's this
dueling cards.
There's this time where they go back to, like, Egypt, and the primitive Egyptian form of Duel Monsters, the card game they play, is just like, these stone slabs come out of the ground, and the stronger one just knocks the other one down, and that's how they determine, like, and these are like, this is like life or death too, and then just the person who picks the weaker stone slab dies. And it was such... And then
Yu-Gi-Oh is really a fever trip. I'll be honest. Also,
and then
there's
of course there's like 20 spin-offs.
if you remember the Beyblades anime, it's kind
Oh
of
my
like
God.
that, or the Bay Wheels anime.
But everyone knows what the Beyblade toys are, but like no one actually knows that's an anime.
Can I
It's
talk?
hilarious.
Can I talk about Bay Wheels? First of all, is that the episode?
Anyway, it's been fun talking to you.
Follow us.
Kex Bradley.
Follow us on Kex Bradley,
and
Dinotopia.
and
Follow
Kex
us on Twitter
Bradley.
at the Meckdonalds. Joe Shanahan is our first
Subscribe
follower.
to the YouTube channel.
read.